Hello, my sacred regenerators of the world. Those of you who mend our souls, this series is for you. It's helping you to serve your clients and yourself in living out your sacred purpose. I personally desire to live an orgasmic life of cosmic proportions, and maybe you do too. These are my own musings on how to make love with life, how to remember who we really are, to know our sacred purpose, and to live it. So let's light our inner passion fire together. Let's get turned on to life. I am Jenna Allen, and at the end, in the last few seconds, there's a bit more on who I am. But for now, we're making love in these Soulgasm Smalltalk sessions. So let's get started. Today, I am going through an exercise called the Why list, WHY, the why list. It's an exercise to do with your clients or for yourself on for moving energy and bringing healing to what you want to call in to your life. So to begin, you will need a paper or something to take notes on, tablet, phone, whatever it is, and write or type out first some of the challenges that you are experiencing right now, some of the biggest challenges that you're experiencing, whether that is in your family, extended family, your social life, your work, your parenting, whatever that is, extended family. Did I say that already? Whatever areas of your life that you're experiencing some of the biggest challenges for you at the moment, you can pause the video and take a moment to do that. And the next step, when you're ready, is to pick the one item that you wrote down that has the most emotional charge for you right now at the moment. Pick the one with the most emotional charge for you. Now, sometimes it's hard to pare it down. So, what I'll do is I'll circle the top three, and then from there, I'll pick my top number one situation or scenario that has the biggest emotional charge for me. And then what you do is you write down what you desire to feel in this area of your life, not what you desire to gain or do for someone else to do or not do or stop doing. If you think of those things, ask yourself, what do I desire to feel? What's the opposite of what I don't want? You might think about what you don't want, like, oh, well, I'm dating and I don't want this or this or this in a partner. Well, then what do you want? And why? What do you want it to feel like? We're not thinking of, well, we can think of what we don't want, and that can help us get to what we do want, but we're not writing down or giving any emotional energy to what it is that we don't want. We are focusing on what we want and why we want it. What do you want and how would it make you feel if those things were different? And that is your why list. That is your why list. The challenge that you choose to focus on for this exercise is being presented to you in your life, being gifted to you at this moment. It is your sacred invitation right now. You're being called to level up in some way, whether that's letting go of codependence, learning to stay out of the negative victim mode and focus on those whys, the positive emotions that you desire to experience. You are being called to properly grieve losses and come out of denial so that you're not having to uh, rehash them again and again or numb out from feeling them, which is a whole nother video. And what my point is, we don't want to get stuck in the positivity trap also. We want to properly grieve our losses. And the why list is a way that we can do that without getting into the positivity trap and just, oh, let me just focus on what's butterflies and rainbows, and let me just think of the positive and all of that. We want to give energy to the positive, but we want to use our grief and our challenges and our losses, and we want to feel them to the fullest extent that we can. And so that means we feel into the grief, we feel into the loss, we feel into the duality that's always there. There's always pain and gain. There's always going to be loss, and there's going to be love and things to embrace and all of that. There's always going to be two of those things to feel at any given moment. And so we want to be in a space where we are whole and integral. We're not avoiding this other dark, shadowy side of things. We're actually integrating it into the wholeness of who we are. When we integrate, we are integral or whole. And when we are whole, that's when we can really manifest. That's when we're really expressing the wholeness of our truth in the world. This is where we are in integrity. And if you are not, if you're like just being positive, get that negative stuff out the way, then you're not in your integrity. You're not acting in integrity. You're not speaking with integrity. You're not in your integrity. If you are not in the reality of the duality of everything, right? And so we want to sit and feel all the parts of us, of ourselves that are meant to be felt, and hold gratitude for the sense of emotion, the sense of feeling, being able to feel deeply both the dark and the light, right? And full grieving can actually be a miracle bringer in our lives. And I've seen it numerous times. And when I say grieving, I'm not talking about somebody died and whatever. I'm talking about, oh shit, like my project didn't go through at work, or my partner isn't going to do the things that I would be looking for in a relationship, or that I want to have in this engagement, or whatever it is, right? Like just fully grieving that, and saying, wow, that hurts. Not just like, oh, I should move on, or I shouldn't feel so bad about this. It's not actually that bad. And look at all the positive that comes from this. We want to sit in a fully grieved state of, yeah, that actually does hurt, and it caused a lot of loss, and I can see how my inner judge or my inner controller gets activated. I can see these old patterns of mine, and even that can be grieved. Like, man, I recognize that this is a pattern of mine, and that is fucking sad. That sucks that whatever's happened before in my life has caused the ego mind to react or respond to things in a certain way that I'd rather not, right? We can grieve that loss. So that's what I mean by fully grieving. And it's a miracle bringer for sure. Let me see where we were at. So the challenges that you are choosing to focus on are that sacred invitation. It's that readiness to level up. You wouldn't see or be caught in or experiencing this situation if you were not ready to heal it. And a lot of times that actually requires us to be willing to look at things or change things that are very hard. Like if I'm people pleasing, or if I need to request something and speak up, and yeah, lots of different things. Whatever we're being called to do, right? We're being invited to level up constantly. And any of the challenges that we face, it's because we're being called to level up, right? And we're being called to change the ways that we used to respond, and the unhealthy patterns that keep coming back for us. we're being called to set healthy boundaries and say no, or set healthy boundaries and stay committed to something, right? Um, so again and again, we'll come back to that's our sacred invitation. And we can't be living our sacred purpose if we're not living our sacred invitation, if we're not answering the sacred invitations that are being extended to us. And if we aren't answering those sacred invitations, looking at our challenges and saying, okay, how am I meant to level up here? We're not going to feel as much joy in our lives as we can. And we're going to feel numb, and we're going to be turning toward less skillful means for coping. But back to the why list, the universe gives us what we put our emotions upon. And we have conscious emotions and we have subconscious emotions. We are all having losses, like I was just saying, that we aren't even aware of. It's why people go to therapy. If they talk it out enough, they finally get deep down in there to what's lodged, so that they can lift it when we're all feeling subconscious emotions that we have no idea are impacting our lives. One small example is we can consciously be saying, give me green lights, give me green lights. I'm in a rush. I need to get to work. Or I'm rushing and I'm late for an appointment, but we catch every single red light because our subconscious emotions are stronger and they're focused on lack. And we're internally saying, even though we might be saying, give me green, our emotions are saying, don't be red, don't be red. I'm late, and focusing on being late. And so then we are late because we're focused there. The universe gives us what our emotions are focused on. And I can't remember the saying, but if it's manifested in your life, then you've manifested it. And whether that's on a soul level, you've manifested something to learn from over multiple lifetimes, things like that. I don't want to minimize anybody's illnesses or very traumatic experiences. I think that's on a different level. But if you are manifesting challenges in your relationships, work life, social life, parenting, things like that, then you have manifested that. And it has to do with these things that are changeable and that you can give attention to and work on. And the why list is the perfect opportunity to be able to work on those, whether that's for yourself or for your clients. Okay. And the key, so just to kind of recap, the key to manifesting is not just doing this why list, it's being in the proper emotional state, and you're wondering why you want something actually brings you more into that emotional state. And additionally, there's the key of fully grieving our losses without stuffing them down, ignoring them, numbing, escaping, or being overtaken by them. And then we'll be in better alignment with manifesting the desires that your soul has for your life. And it is something far better than what you imagined that you wanted. P.S. As a PhD psych student with years of trauma recovery work on myself and in thousands of sessions with people, I can say that there are far faster ways of healing through trauma and stress than the turtle's pace of talk therapy. Just wanting to throw that out there. It does have its value, but without embodiment practices in working to engage with and cultivate your sacred purpose, then progress will be very slow, very difficult, and it's not something that will stick very easily. And I know that my years and years of therapy barely scratched the surface of my personal healing, but the practices of emotional clearing, embodiment practices, and the sacred purpose work that I've done have catapulted my growth exponentially. And I continue to find greater and greater levels of joy than I ever thought were possible. And it's pretty magical. So The why list is one of the things that I've been doing for years and years. It's one of the very first things that I taught to my clients, and it is a amazing tool to have in your tool belt as a sacred regenerator yourself. Please, if you like this video, hit like, share it, subscribe to my channel. Feel free to reach out also if you're interested in, or if you have any questions about this, or you're interested in private or community coaching and master classes. I'll have my website linked below, which has a list of my offerings, plus a list of topics that I typically talk on and teach about. Again, I am Jenna Allen. I am a personal development educator, psycho-spiritual coach to sacred regenerators of the world who mend our wounded souls. I personally serve holistic, alternative, esoteric healing professionals in finding and living their sacred purpose. I am currently a PhD psychology student at the time of this recording, focusing on training to teach psychologists. I am a trauma resolution specialist, a healing practitioner, and that's a little bit about me. And I really hope that you enjoy the Soulgasm Smalltalk series. Thanks, and I'll see you again.